I wanted to answer some of your questions about storage. So when cocoa beans come from wherever in the world they're coming from, they usually come in a combination of jute and a plastic bag. So all of my cacao here, you see, generally comes in a plastic bag because I'm at origin. I'm in Brazil. I'm very close to the cocoa producer, and it doesn't have to sit in a ship or a container at a storage facility for months and maybe even years, which is what people in either the USA, Canada, Europe have to go through. So for me, they generally just will send it in either this plastic bag, and hopefully inside of this bag will be this bag. Although people use this bag in Brazil, it is imported. You can get it on this website. This is globally the best bag to store your cacao. It is used for rice, for beans, for any sort of grain. It keeps it dry. It really, if you are a producer, if you can store your cocoa beans in these bags, it really is the best way to store it. Now, you can't just put it in this bag and send it to your chocolate maker, because it's just a plastic bag. It can break, it can be fragile. So generally you'll put your cocoa in this one, and then you'll put it in this one. And when people grab onto it to throw it around, to ship it, to put it in a truck, to bring it here, they will maybe put a hook on this part of it, and that's how they can carry it around. Same thing. So what you want as a chocolate maker, what you want to receive is you want to receive all of your cocoa beans in this bag, in this green bag. Brazil does have some cheaper options, which I'll find in a minute, but this is the best one. And you want to find this one inside of either this one or inside of this one. And because you don't know the humidity of your beans, or if there are insect infestation in your beans, this is why I open all of my bags immediately when I receive them. Well, I open one bag, I don't open all of them, and then I check it out, I see what's going on, and if it seems like there's a lot of humidity, then I will sort the entire batch, and then I'll put it in another container to store. So if I need to store it somewhere else, I either will store it in new GrainPro bags, which I separate. So most of my bags would say roasted cacao or raw cacao, and you should never interchange your whatever it is, your buckets, your boxes, your bags, with roasted from raw. And so if I want to keep a little bit more, and for me it's actually easier to just use a lot of these plastic containers. They're a little bit more secure. This one's not going to break, right? Like nobody can crack this one. And it's pretty sturdy, and you can also put some on top of others. This sort of container is really good for killing off any insects that may be in your cacao. So let's say you receive your cacao in a sack and you see that there's a lot of insects in there. You could just put it in here, and then you could seal it shut, and the lack of oxygen will kill off your insects. That has never happened to me, but it is something that can happen and that you can do to save your cacao. I actually like to use these to store my nibs. And so what I do is I take my cocoa sacks, I take the cacao, I sort it, I roast it, I crack it, and I winnow it, and then I put my nibs in here. Putting my nibs in here makes it a lot more convenient and efficient for me to make the chocolate later, and it takes less space to store nibs than to store cacao. So it's more convenient, it's better, it uses up less space, and it's easier to put into the machine once you're ready to go. Someone mentioned having humidity issues. The only time you're going to have humidity issues is when it's in the sack, arrived from the farm. Once it's in your factory, you really shouldn't add humidity to it unless you're working in a space where you're boiling water, or you're near fresh water. You shouldn't have issues with humidity unless it already came with a lot of humidity from the farm. But storing it in São Paulo, we're not going to have a problem of added humidity. It only happens when it already comes like that from the farm. So if you're concerned about that, I would roast everything, and then I would store it roasted. But like I said, storing roasted beans takes up a lot of space. So I would roast it, crack it, winnow it, and then store just the nibs. And these guys here are airtight, so that means that if you are looking to age or to mature your beans or your nibs, you do have to come in here once in a while and pop it open so that you can get a little bit of air in there so that it can circulate instead of it being trapped in there. So you can age your beans, that is a thing. You can age your cacao nibs, also a thing. You could even add some special things in here. So let's say that I wanted to age special nibs. I put my nibs in here, and maybe I put a slice of dehydrated pineapple or a slice of orange peel, and then that flavor will be absorbed by the nibs, and when you make your chocolate, you may have something that has a little bit of pineapple or orange flavor naturally. So this is the international brand. This is the one that the entire world recommends. This is the best brand for it, but there is also this other bag. I have no idea where this comes from, but from what I understand, you can get it here in Brazil. So these are the two bags that are really good for storing cacao if you want to store a large quantity and if you don't want to get millions of these things.